Life is a highway. It's full of twists, turns, and complex issues to try and navigate. Welcome to Retire the Right Way with Anthony Wright of Retirement Specialty Group. Each week, you'll hear us discuss the pitfalls and common investing mistakes we see people make. We'll also educate you about the financial world and encourage you to think about solutions to some of the problems and question marks you might face in your own financial life. So let's get on the right road to retirement with Anthony Wright here on Retire the Right Way.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome into Retire the Right Way. Mark Killian here, your host alongside Anthony Wright. As usual here on the show, we're so glad that you are joining us and tuning in today as we talk about the world of finance and retirement. We got a great show lined up, so make sure you stick around. Got a lot of good content coming your way. And Anthony and I are going to have a good time as we usually do. And, of course, Anthony and his team, they service the Knoxville, Chattanooga, Crossville, Sparta areas, all points in between. And Anthony is the president and the CEO. And if you'd like to reach out to him, it's easy to do. You don't have to wait for the show to be over. You can call at any time, 888-557-1993. That is 888-557-1993. And, of course, we want to make sure that we mention that we hope everyone out there is doing well and is safe after the week or two or several weeks worth of crazy weather and violent storms that's happening all across the country, even though places obviously such as Montana and Texas can't necessarily hear us, or Florida with these just path of storms. We certainly give our best wishes to everyone out there, and even the remnants that kind of got close and moved their way in and all those good sorts of things. We want to make sure that we're all doing the right thing and being safe as we can and helping out our fellow people, fellow man, where we can. And with that, Anthony, let's go ahead and get back to the financial conversation and have talk today about the financial junk drawer and how it's applicable to our financial life, our financial junk drawer, if you will. And of course, you've got one of those, right, Anthony?
Oh, you know I do, don't we all?
I was going to say, that's kind of a universal thing that we all have as humans, isn't it? There's a junk drawer in the house somewhere. I think that we all have similar items in that junk drawer, probably some batteries, maybe a pen or two. For a lot of us, maybe a label maker or some rubber bands or, something like that. Well, I want to talk about our financial junk drawer because I'm pretty sure we all have one of those too. Now, maybe it's not in the kitchen, but I'm pretty sure we got one, a safe or a box or something, where we tend to throw some of our financial documents and then maybe we forget about them. So I'm going to toss a couple of items out at you, Anthony, and you tell us why we might want to think about cleaning up that junk drawer and putting those things to better use. For example, a really old life insurance policy, almost guaranteed that there's one of those in the junk drawer.
Well, and you can bet on that one. That's a guarantee. Most of the time, the old life insurance policies are tucked away somewhere in a storage box. Sometimes they're even in a safety deposit box or a safe. And I had a lady come to my office not too long ago. It's just been a couple months ago, and she came in and we were going through getting ready to, work on a plan for her. And we were going through all the different sorts of things that she has. And I have a checklist that I go by. And so when I come down to the life insurance policy, she actually had it. And I was shocked because most people don't have their life insurance policies.
True.
And when folks come by the office to see me, they book an appointment and I tell them, be sure you bring all your statements, be sure you bring all your policies and investment statements and things, because it's only as good as the information I get from them, right? Yep. So son of a gun, she showed up with this life insurance policy, and it smelled real mildew and musty, and I was like, you hadn't got that out in a while, have you? And she said, oh, no, I probably hadn't looked at that in 15 years. and she said, when I called to get an appointment and they told me to bring everything, she said, I had to dig it up. And, the strange thing about it was when I looked at it and she handed it to me, I said, what's your understanding of what you have? And she said, I have a $750,000 policy that's going to pay the estate taxes when I die, and it's supposed to go to my estate, and it's going to pay these taxes and all this stuff, and blah, 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 blah. And she was telling me everything. Well, I'm sitting there looking at the policy, Mark, and I noticed that the policy expired about 60 days prior.
Oh, no.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking underneath my breath, and I'm trying to hold a poker face, and I'm trying, not to freak out, so she freaks out. And so I kind of look at her, and I said, how long do you think this policy goes for? And she said, she named the date, and it was a couple more years, and I was like, don't freak out on me here, but what if I told you that this policy expired? She said, no, it's good for 2 more years. And so I just took my highlighter out and I highlighted where it said expiration date, and I turned it around my desk and I slid it back over there, and her face turned as pale as like somebody that's sick with a virus. And she said, oh, dear God, you mean it has expired? And I said, honey, it expired 60 days ago. And so she had a Maalox moment there for a minute. But the good news is this. In that financial junk drawer, there's probably a lot of listeners today that have filed away that old life insurance policy. And folks, you need to go dig them out, and you need to look at them and make sure they haven't expired. Now, the story there does have a good ending, because I was able to call the company and get it what they call reinstated. So I was able to call and get it reinstated with 2 months premium, and we got that reinstated for her, and then we were able to extend it. So it had a good ending, but had she not come in here and sat down and talked to me and dug it out of her financial junk drawer, she would have been in big trouble. She probably wouldn't have cared in the grave, but her kids would have probably dug her up and beat her, sticking them with a big tax bill, right?
Yeah, really. Well, there's a couple of things about that. So that was great, obviously, that you could certainly get that reinstated for. Now, it's also not the end of the world, Anthony, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but sometimes with these really old life insurance policies, a lot of life insurance policies today are actually a little bit more affordable because the mortality tables have changed. People are living longer, so the insurance companies know that they can get those premiums for longer. So a lot of times you can get the insurance for cheaper than maybe what you got at 20, 25, 30 years ago. That is as long as you're still insurable. That's kind of the caveat, but right?
Yep, absolutely. And fortunately, in her case, there's a 90-day lapse period on hers, and so I was able to get it reinstated.
Okay.
Thank God she came in here at the right time, man. If she'd have waited 1 more month, it'd have been too late.
Absolutely. Well, that's one of those things you certainly got to keep an eye on. That's what we're talking about, the financial junk drawer here today on Retire the Right Way, and how we need to make sure we go through that every so often and work on cleaning that out, and then taking some of that information and going to a qualified professional and saying, hey, here's what I got. Here's my junk drawer. I've cleaned it up. Tell me what this stuff is and tell me what I should do and how to make this better. And Anthony, if they want to reach out to you right now, as we're going to take a break here in just a second, what's that look like?
It looks like 888. So that is 888-557-1993. Give a call in to me. Obviously, we're on the air today, so you won't get me live, but you will get my voicemail. And leave me a message on there, the best time to call you back, and I'll have somebody from my staff call back and get you on my calendar so we can sit down and take a look at what's in your financial junk drawer, so to speak. Make sure you don't have any life insurance policies expired, and make sure you're in good shape. So you can also text me at 555-888, and you just put the word RSG. That stands for Retirement Specialty Group. So if you're text savvy and you got a smartphone, just text RSG to 555-888, or pick up the phone, call 888-557-1993. If you like email, shoot me an email, info@retirementspecialtygroup.com.
All right, folks, and then when you do that, that's going to get you your personalized financial GPS, and what that is a whole lot of good information when you're going to come in, sit down, talk with Anthony, spend about an hour of your time, go through some of your wants, needs, desires, where you stand currently, and then see if it's going to be a good fit for you guys to work together, and Anthony will craft you your own financial GPS, which will help you get to and through retirement. There's no cost, there's no obligation, but you got to take the action on your part. 888-557-1993 is the number to call. Go ahead and grab your phone right now. Call him right now, 888-557-1993, because if you don't do it, you know you'll forget, and you won't get around to it later because the grandkids will come over, or you'll start working in the yard or something like that. So go ahead and call him, get on the calendar, come and spend an hour of your time. Hey, you worked 40 years. It's certainly worth an hour of your time to find out if you're going the right direction for retirement. 888-557-1993. You're listening to Retire the Right Way. We'll be back with more of the financial junk drawer.
If you're a baby boomer like me, me and are overwhelmed by all the potential claiming options for Social Security and not sure which choice is the right one, just pick up the phone and call Anthony Wright at Retirement Specialty Group before making any decisions. After a lifetime of working, surely you can spare 1 hour of your time to get a free, no-cost, no-obligation financial GPS at Retirement Specialty Group. Call 888-557-1993. That's 888-557-1993. Bluegrass music originated in Bristol, Tennessee. Can you name what else Bristol is famous for? That's how you do it the right way, or in this case, is it the left way? Either way, there is more to come on Retire the Right Way.
You're back here with us on Retire the Right Way. Mark Killian alongside Anthony Big Dog Wright, the president, the CEO, the star of our show here as well on Retire the Right Way, but he's also the boss over at Retirement Specialty Group. You can catch him in Knoxville, Chattanooga, Crossville, Sparta, Fairfield, Glades, all around the area. Anthony is your go-to resource for retirement planning. If you like to reach out to him, call at any time. You don't have to wait for the show to be over. We say it all throughout the show. We're on the air for about an hour, and we kind of remind you of that because we know you're busy, you're driving, whatever the case might be. So reach out to Anthony, 888-557-1993. Say, hey, man, what's up? I need to come in and see you and talk about my financial situation. 888-557-1993. So we're going to talk back again about the financial junk drawer. If you missed the first section, we're talking about the fact that we all have a junk drawer in our house, usually in our kitchen, with things like rubber bands and batteries and whatnot. You know, that heck, there's even stuff probably from when the kids were still living there. I know my daughter's off to college, and I still find things of hers that are in the junk drawer. Although, you know what's funny, Anthony? I got to ask you about this, and you can ask yourself this out in Radio Land. In your junk drawer in your kitchen, is there a flashlight? That's the one thing there should be. In mine, there isn't.
You know, the flashlight is...
It should be there, right?
It should be, but it's not.
We're so bad about that. I guarantee you there's a bunch of us out there listening going, you know what? I don't think I have one in mine either. But we're going to get back to the financial junk drawer. And that's probably a box or a safe or something that you've got in your house somewhere where you keep your important papers. And maybe this junk drawer needs to be cleaned up, and some of this stuff could be put to better use. We talked about old life insurance policies on the first section. That's certainly something in the junk drawer that could get some better use today by sitting down with a professional and making sure that things are correct on that. How about an outdated will or maybe an estate plan? I know this is a hot topic at your classes as well.
It is a very hot topic, and I mean, I wish I had a dollar for every time somebody come in and said, you know, I've got a will or a trust that was made back 20, 30, 40 years ago, and I'm like, my stars, you haven't done anything with it. And I get that daily. I mean, you just cannot imagine how many outdated estate plans and trust and wills are out there, and folks kind of get them done and then they just kind of put them aside. But if you're listening today, let me kind of jog your memory a little bit. You know, think back over the past 20, 30, 40 years. I had one, Mark, that come in about, that's been probably about 6 months ago, that they had remarried. They had stepchildren now. It was crazy when you went back 30 years ago and you looked at where they were then and what was in their financial estate plan and what was in their trust and the way the will was written. And come find out, if he would have died, his ex-wife and the kids still would have gotten everything, and his new wife and stepchildren would have been left out altogether.
Well, that'd be an ugly conversation.
Oh, that'd be a nasty conversation. And while we're on this subject, you know, you mentioned in a lot of the college courses I teach and a lot of these workshops I do, this is a big, big topic. And just about daily, I'm asked about this. And folks need to understand that if you have a will, you will go through probate. That is the best way to explain it. Now, please understand, I am not an attorney. I work with 4 attorneys, and they do all the wills and the trust and all that. But I'm telling you that the best thing that the attorneys have told me is you be sure and tell your clients if they have a will, they will go through probate. Now, the way you stop the probate process is you get a trust, and you can either do a revocable trust or an irrevocable trust. You do a trust, and then you put the will inside the trust. Once the will goes inside the trust, then it isn't a part of the probate process because a trust bypasses probate. So I'm sure a lot of folks in Tennessee that are listening to the show today have heard of a gentleman by the name of Conway Twitty. And, Conway Twitty was a real famous country music singer. And when he died, all he had was a will. He didn't have a trust. He didn't have any type of protection against anything. He just had a will. And because of that, when he passed, it got challenged and it got contested, and it stayed tied up in court for over 16 years. And when that happened, the attorney fees and the court fees, it just eroded at his inheritance. And so his heirs got very, very little of his inheritance. So that's what happens when you stick a will in a so-called junk drawer. And I like how you're saying that, and it's good to be back off vacation and be back talking to you and talking about fresh things like this. So in my mind, when you bring that up and you talk about outdated wills and estate plans, I think about people like Conway Twitty. I think about people like, the singer Prince. Last year, for some unknown reason, Mark, it was a horrible year for artists, right?
Yeah, 2016 wasn't good, yeah.
Oh, man. All kinds of them were, dying and falling and dropping like flies, and it was bad. But here you had a guy that was worth over $300 million. And when he died, he didn't even have a will. He didn't even have a trust. And so you saw the news headlines. Everybody listening saw the news headlines. Over $300 million, and then mysteriously 15 love children show up trying to claim their share of that $300 million. So to make a real long story short, just a couple of weeks ago, in fact, I think it was when I was on vacation, a couple of weeks ago, I read a report that they settled it, and the love children ended up being nothing to it, and so it got split between his siblings. And what was interesting to me was out of $300 million, all that got split was $100 million. So ask yourself, where did that other $200 million go? It went to court cost, it went to taxes, it went to filing fees, it went to attorney fees, it went to DNA test proving that you're not a love child of Prince. So, yeah, everybody says, well, 5 people split $100 million. They're happy. They got $20 million apiece. Well, okay, true. But good grief, do you want to just roll over and hand Uncle Sam and all these attorneys $200 million and to do DNA test and court cost and taxes? That can be avoided if you just don't stash it in a financial junk drawer somewhere and just walk away and forget it. Folks, we can do an estate plan. I've got 4 CPAs that I work with. I've got 4 attorneys I work with. Now, I'm the financial advisor. But we do estate plans, and we build these estate plans to help you bypass probate and stop those nonsense charges like that. So if you've got your will or estate plan in a financial junk drawer somewhere, pull it out, give me a call. If you have a will, you definitely need to give me a call because you will go through probate. And if it gets contested, it could stay tied up in probate for several years, and it'll just erode away at what you've worked your whole life hard and to save and leave to your family and your heirs, and it'll just get eaten up with all those court costs. So anyway, best thing to do, Mark, I've talked long enough. I'll let you tell them how to get in touch with me.
All right, folks. If you'd like to get some more information about this, if you want to get help cleaning up your financial junk drawer with Anthony Wright, it's really easy to do. You just reach out to him at 888-557-1993. You call that number. You leave your basic contact information because we are on the air here. Someone from the team, usually Brian or Anthony, will get back to you. They'll get you on the calendar, come in for a consultation. You'll sit down and say, hey, here's what I got going on. Here's what I need to get addressed. Here's what I want to work on. And Anthony will help you kind of get from point A to point B. He calls that his financial GPS. It's going to help you get to where you need to be in retirement. But you got to take some action on your end and reach out to him. Now, you can do it a couple of ways. You can send an email to the website. That is info@retirementspecialtygroup.com. That's info@retirementspecialtygroup.com. You can also learn more about Anthony and the team there as well. You can give him a call at 888-557-1993. That is 888-557-1993. You can also text the letters RSG That is RSG to 555-888. Just grab your smartphone and text RSG to 555-888. Fill out the basic contact information, and they will get back to you ASAP. It's not a sales presentation. It's not a push. It's just simply to get yourself on the calendar to come in and talk about your situation. And when you come in, you do most of the talking. So Anthony will sit and listen, and you'll do most of the talking, and then they'll work on how to best go about the next step. It's no cost, no obligation, but you got to take the action. So reach out for that free financial GPS. 888-557-1993. We'll be back in just a moment with more Retire the Right Way.
Hey folks, Miss Lita here. Are you tired of financial pitchmen who think the same square peg financial plan is the right fit for every retiree? Then do yourself a favor and call Anthony Wright at Retirement Specialty Group and see what it's like to work with an advisor with a plan and not a salesperson with a pitch. Call 888-557-1993 and experience the difference. Grand Ole Opry is home to the longest-running live radio broadcast in the entire world, starting in 1925. That is what I call doing it the right way.
Well, you're back here with us on Retire the Right Way. Mark Killian alongside Anthony Wright from Retirement Specialty Group. Having a good show here today, talking about the financial junk drawer. And if you need to get yours cleaned out, Anthony is certainly the one that can give you a hand with that. And that, of course, is 888-557-1993. That's 888-557-1993. Now, he's not going to come over to your house and go through your junk drawer and clean it out for you in that respect. But if you bring him the information, he's certainly going to help you clean up that financial junk drawer and get you on the right path to retirement success. 888-557-1993. Anthony, let's finish off the junk drawer here today. This will be our last segment on this with a few more items that might be in the junk drawer to keep an eye on. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong again on this one, but the Social Security estimates that they mail out, I think they used to mail those annually, but I don't think they do anymore. I think it's maybe, every 5 years they send one of those out?
Oh, yeah. It's every 5 years
That
now.
little green piece of paper, we know what it looks like, right? It shows up from the Social Security office, and it tells you what the estimate of what your Social Security would be if you retired at this age and that age. So you might have one of those laying in that junk drawer, maybe the last time you got one, and heck, maybe it's even from the Clinton administration, and you're sitting there thinking, right, you're like, oh, this is how much I'm going to get. But obviously that's not up to date because things have changed. You've continued to work. So you can go online and request one of those for free at the website for the government. But you also want to just make sure that you know where you stand with your Social Security estimate, right?
Well, absolutely. And the reason they did that was because of budget cuts back under the Clinton administration. It's kind of funny you mentioned that because they did the budget cuts, and when they went through there, with their what they call that, cutting out the pork belly spending or whatever. So they decided because of email and web technology and all that it's better for you to go to ssa.gov and everybody can just go online and do it now, and they would conserve X amount of trees and X amount of pounds of paper per year and all that good fun stuff. But the
idea, right, is that we want to know, though, exactly what our Social Security could be, and you could really even get more of that information by getting a maximization with someone like yourself.
Yeah, you do want to know, and it's a good point that you brought up because that's one of the things that's included in the financial GPS that you and I talk about so frequently every week. Is part of that is your Social Security maximization. Very few people know, Mark, that once you cross your full retirement age, so let's say your full retirement age is 66, if you would wait just 4 more years, every year that you wait, your Social Security is going to grow by 8% per year. So if you can wait those 4 more years and draw at 70, you're going to increase 32%. Now, the flip side of that is if you run out there and you go, you know what, I'm going to turn my Social Security on at 62 because I'm afraid there's not going to be anything left in the Social Security bucket, so I'm going to turn my Social Security on, you actually take a 25% haircut. So you take a 25% cut in pay. So when you do the math on that between 62 and 70, so if you got 32% and then you take a 25% haircut, so do the math on that, that's 57%. That is a huge number, Mark, and very, very few people know that. And people have to understand that during the election time, they're going to hear, vote for me because so-and-so's running through the Social Security money. I'm here to tell you right now, we're not going to run out of Social Security money. And the reason being is because under the last administration, now I understand there's a different administration. We have a different president now. But under the previous administration, they funded some financial institutions to bail them out, and it was called the bailout package. And I think it ended up being several trillions of dollars. So before any congressman or senator or president stood before the citizens of the United States and said, whoops, we spent all your Social Security money and your checks are going to stop next week, they would just pass a stimulus package, Mark, and just refund it, because our money in America, we just print it on a printing press. So they would just refund it, and it's just people get all fearful. And listen, I'll be the first one to tell you, my parents were the same way. As soon as they turned 62, I'm going to draw my Social Security because it might not be there, and I've worked my whole life for it. And I'm like, okay, Dad, look, all right, Mom, listen, just calm down. It isn't going anywhere. These politicians are scaring you. The longer you wait, the more money you're going to make. So if you start early, you're going to draw a less amount, 25% to be exact. But if you come and sit down with somebody like me, part of what we do in that financial GPS is that maximization of that Social Security. So we can find a way to get you from 62 to 70. You're talking about a 50, what was that number I said earlier? 57% swing. That's a lot of money. And I've got a client right now that they waited until 70. He's drawing just about $4,000 a month, and she's drawing a little more than $4,000 a month. So the two of them in Social Security payments every month is getting right at $8,000 a month in Social Security. That's $96,000 a year the rest of their life. And I just saw on the Today Show the other day, they were celebrating people turning 103, 105, and these guys are just 70.
Yeah.
So live 30 more years drawing $96,000 a year out of your Social Security. Try that on for size.
Well, and I think there's a catch-22 there, right? Because some people will hear that and they'll go, well, that's the whole point. That's why I'm worried, and so on and so forth. And I think maybe I'll disagree with you a little bit because we have this debate regularly on the show. I think that there will be changes, and I know that you agree with me to a certain degree on that too. But I think if you're in the red zone, for sure, if you're 5 to 10 years out, I don't think there's any concern about changes to the Social Security system. But I think if you're 40 or under, certainly there's going to be some changes that come down the way.
Oh, definitely.
So there's a lot of leeway in there, I think, is on that whole Social Security debate. And it's kind of like the health debate right now. Until the government figures out what they're doing, it's always going to be up in the air. But the idea being is that if you get this maximization done from Anthony, you'll get a better understanding of how your Social Security benefits are going to play into your overall retirement plan. And they should be a percentage of it. I think there's definitely people out there in the population that the Social Security is a big chunk of their retirement plan. That's a no-no. But if it is what it is, then that's what it is, right, Anthony? But Absolutely. At the same time, if you factor it in and it's 25 to 30% of your retirement plan, you might be in pretty good shape. But you're not going to know that if you don't come in and sit down and talk with Anthony and get those numbers. We'll give you the information to call him one more time. I'm just going to run through a couple of these real fast. A few more items that might be in the junk drawer, Anthony, and you tell me if these are things that you've seen before. I'm sure they have been. 401k statements from maybe even a couple of previous employers that I guess they're called orphaned 401ks.
Yeah, orphan 401ks is where they worked at a previous employer, maybe 2 or 3 previous employers. They just stick them in their financial junk drawer and never look at them again. Now's a good time to pull them back out and look at them because we are at an 8-year high right now. We've been on just a straight up 8-year market high right now. So it'd be a good time to take a look at them, possibly roll them over, get them into an IRA where you have a little more control over your retirement money. Yeah,
absolutely. Great point there, because then you've got better options to choose from. They're probably just sitting there and they're doing, whatever they were doing before, but you have definitely more options and more control if you can roll those things around. The last two here, probably not something we see as often anymore. You might see these occasionally, but U.S. savings bonds, there may be some people that still have some of those in their junk drawer.
Yeah, it's been about a year ago, I saw some military bonds that somebody bought way back. Their mother bought them way back in the war, and I think those were World War II bonds. And they brought them in, and boy, you talk about almost falling apart. You couldn't hardly touch the paper. But yeah,
and
there's
of course,
still
bond
there's
rates
still some out there.
They're not necessarily making a whole lot now anyway. They may have before, but right now they're not making a lot.
No,
So,
it's not a good day for bond investors right now.
yeah, and so the idea here is a lot of these things, if you bring them in and you sit down and talk about cleaning out your junk drawer, is going to give you find a better use for some of these tools in today's markets and today's services and vehicles that are available. The last one is maybe you bought some property, not even a house, but just like a lot. I know there's some people who have maybe purchased a lot next door because they were going to build it for the family, or they were going to sell it as an investment, and they just never really did. And obviously, maybe you didn't forget about it because you're paying taxes on it annually when that property tax bill comes due. But you still could find a better use for that investment.
Well, a prime example of what you're talking about, Mark, was a guy that come in that had a lot, and he had brought in his deed, and yeah, I'll just keep it short, sweet, and simple because I know the producers are giving us we got to wrap it up call on this segment here. But long story short, that piece of property is now swampland. So it went the other way.
I gotcha.
But there are good stories of investments. But definitely, if you own a vacant lot and it was purchased 15 or 20 years ago, you definitely need to know where it's at today and what the value of it is. And is it worth, potentially hanging on to or selling for a better investment? But, real quick, because I see them giving us the we
red
gotta go
lights
sign
on,
here. Yeah. But here's what you want to do, folks. If you're approaching retirement or you're in retirement, you want to know, hey, do I stand a chance? Where am I at? I have the financial GPS. Now, that financial GPS is going to show you this is where I'm at, this is where I'm going, this is how I'm going to get there. It's going to look at the different fees that your funds are paying. Mark, I did this past week with a gentleman, been in the business 45 years. He's retired, and he didn't even know that the fund fees were in there. And I told him, when I pointed out to him, I said, we're saving you 17 basis points on your fund fees on these funds that are charging you every year. And he looked at me and he said, Anthony, I've been in this 45 years. I never even knew I was charged those fees. So it points out what the fees are. It points out, are you going to have enough to get you there? It points out, what is your risk tolerance? Are you too high on the risk side? Are you too high on the safe side? So we want to keep you balanced. But how do you get in touch with me? You want to pick up the phone, call me at 888. So that's 888-557-1993. Now, obviously, I'm on the radio this morning with Mark. You'll get my voicemail, today I'm on the.
I say you did it too.
I did it too. See,
all day long I've been doing that.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm on the radio today with Mark. You'll get my voicemail. But however, leave me a message, and then someone from my office is going to call you back and get you on the calendar, and we'll get you that free financial GPS to take a look at where are you going, how are you going to get there. If you're text savvy, go ahead and text RSG. That stands for Retirement Specialty Group. You can text that to 555-888. And if you want to email me, shoot me an email, info@retirementspecialtygroup.com. And as always, thanks, continue to listen to us. I think we got one or two more segments coming up, but I always love hearing from the listeners. So pick up the phone, call me, 888-557-1993, and I look forward to hearing from you.
You're listening to Retire the Right Way. Here's Miss Lita with more information. We'll be right back.
For your free financial GPS, call 888-557-1993. That's 888-557-1993 for your no-cost, no-obligation consultation.
You know that old saying that men don't ask for directions? Well, let me tell you, the best decision I ever made was contacting Anthony Wright at Retirement Specialty Group to ask for help on getting to and through my retirement. And that is one set of directions I plan to follow.
Well, we're moving along nicely today here on Retire the Right Way. Thanks so much for sticking around on the show with us. We certainly appreciate your time as we talk about the worlds of finance and retirement. And, of course, if you'd like to reach out to Anthony Wright, you know what to do. Give him a call at 888-557-1993. That's 888-557-1993. If you're in Chattanooga or Knoxville or Crossville or Sparta or all the points in between, Anthony and the team at Retirement Specialty Group can certainly help you out just well. Anthony, I think talking about money, I know, and I know you definitely know this, talking about money is hard for most people. Would you agree?
I agree 100%.
I mean, heck, even talking to our spouses sometimes is a tough thing to go when talking about money. And so getting the conversation started is really kind of the tipping point, kind of the juxtaposition of the whole thing. Because if you can get the ball rolling, it gets a whole lot easier. I would agree. I would think anyway.
Oh, it does. You just got to get the ball rolling. You got to get people talking.
Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to change this up a little bit. We're going to have some fun on the air here. We're going to give you some ideas or some ways to think about starting the conversation. Now, Anthony obviously is the financial advisor, so I'm going to let him ask me some questions and pretend as though I'm a potential client or a retiree. I'm getting ready to hit the retirement age, and just ask me some questions and get me to start talking about the conversation of retirement and what that could look like to kind of help ease that transition a little bit. So, Anthony, you're my potential financial advisor. Hit me with a question to try to get me to talk. What do you got?
Oh, this will be fun. You mean I get to throw the questions
You
at
get
you?
to interview me, yeah.
We're changing it around a little bit. All right, so here you go.
Okay.
All right, let's just say that you picture yourself retired, okay?
All right.
So let's say it's 10:45 in the morning on Tuesday morning. All right, what are you going to do for the day?
Well, I'm a bit of ways away from retirement, but certainly I hope that I would have some hobbies or some plans to do. Random Tuesday morning, I'm a musician still, and I think I still will be when I'm 65. So I'll probably get up, play a little music, work in the garden a little bit, or the vegetables, I guess, work on the pool, play with the dogs. But, I'm not really sure. I think I probably would need to get a better focus on what I want to do in retirement. Is that the point?
Well, I mean, that's the point. You want to find out what interests you. I mean, most of the clients, when I ask that question to, they'll say, well, we go to bridge class, or we play pickleball, or we play tennis, or we go golfing, or I'm out in the garden gardening. And so the point of that question, the reason I ask you that is because you need to think about what you want to do. So many times people retire and they don't really have a clue what they're going to do, and they find themselves bored out of their mind. Well, that's not any good to be retired and bored out of your mind. I asked that question to a client one day, and I said, what would you do? She said, go to the casino.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, that's fair. So, all right, let me ask you another one.
All right, so the idea is then you need to start thinking and talking about what you want retirement to look like. Now, obviously, I was completely caught off guard because even though we've set this up, I didn't even really think about what I want to do in retirement. Now, I'm a bit away from it, but it's still the same idea. There might be people at 55 that are still going, heck, I don't know what I want to do in retirement.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So let me ask you another one.
All right.
Okay. So if I was a financial genie in a bottle,
Okay,
that's a visual you don't want today, right?
I can see you in that Aladdin outfit from Genie in the Aladdin movie.
So if I was a financial genie in a bottle, what financial problem would you wish for me to solve for you today?
Oh man, my taxes.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'd want for you to solve my taxes.
That's a good one.
Okay, so is that something, if someone comes in, so if I'm a potential client, I come in and say, Anthony, I need help with my taxes. Is that something you can do?
Absolutely, because back when I founded Retirement Specialty Group, I set it up with me as the advisor, and then we have a CPA and we had an attorney. Now, that's been several years ago, so I've grown since then. I now have 4 attorneys and 4 CPAs that I work with, and then I have other sub-advisors. But yeah, absolutely. That is a big financial problem. And hey, you're not the only person to ever say that. Most everybody wants to know what's going to happen when I retire with the tax situation.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
All right, let me give you another one.
All right, this is pretty fun. I like this.
Yeah, this is good. Okay, so if I gave you all the money that you thought you could possibly ever need.
Okay, I like this.
Ooh, I like that. I think you ought to be giving me all the money I ever possibly need. The only thing that I require of you in exchange was that you have to get up every day and do something that you're passionate about.
Okay.
So money's not an issue here.
Okay, right.
All right. So in exchange, you just have to tell me that this is what I'm passionate about and this is what I would do every day. What would that be?
I got you. All right, so I'm retired. I got to think about this as a retired standpoint. All right, so I'm retired and I'm passionate about doing what? For me, that's probably going to be traveling. I really want to travel with my wife and see a lot of places. So money is not going to be an object, so you're going to help me make sure that I'm funding my travel budget.
That's good. Except, did you know that you and I have ESP and we can hear people talking to us through their radio? Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah. Did you hear those people out there listening said, "Ha! Yeah, since when do I have all the money I ever need?
Okay, so how do we go about getting that, right? You got to plan for it. You got to plan for it.
That's exactly right. You got to plan for it, because the problem is, Mark, nobody has a plan. I mean, I love it. I think it's genius you come up with this idea of reversing the roles, because nobody never has a plan. When folks call and they come in for a meeting and I'll say, bring your plan. They don't bring a plan. So I have to tell them to bring their statements. So bring your statements so we can build your plan. But absolutely, man, we can plan to where money isn't the issue. It becomes, what are you passionate about? What do you want to do? Fish, travel, shop, hunt, go to the casino? I don't know what it is. But the reason that you're having anxiety is because you don't have a plan. All right, so look, before I get carried away, let me ask you one other one. Knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently when it comes to your financial life?
Oh, that's easy. I see the producer looking at me. Don't say it. Got off my you-know-what earlier. I am a big procrastinator. We've talked about this on the show many times. I put things off, and I put things off, and I put things off, and it drives my wife nuts. And so I would have gotten started a heck of a lot sooner. And I imagine that that's something that you hear a lot when you start working with people on their financial GPS. It's like, man, I wish I'd have talked to you sooner. I could have been a little further along.
Well, there's no doubt. There's no question. I mean, that's you pretty much hit the nail right on the head. Just about everybody listening, when they call in, they'll say, man, if I would have just gotten here 5 years ago. Wish I'd have talked to you 2 years ago. Wish, and everybody struggles with procrastination. So, don't beat yourself up on that. That's just pretty much the way people are in general. They procrastinate, and let's be honest. Nobody wants to come in and sit down and talk about when I die, who's going to get what I leave. I mean, that's not a real exciting subject.
Very true. Very true.
And a lot of times people are afraid to come in because they're like, well, if I don't have enough money, I don't want to leave depressed, and so there's just all kinds of reasons people procrastinate. But folks, if you're listening today, don't be like Mark and procrastinate. So pick up the phone and call me. You're gonna get a no obligation consultation for free. Don't cost you anything, just maybe 45 minutes to an hour of your time. So you'll want to call me at 888-557-1993. If you can text, then text the word RSG to 555-888. And, hey, if you want to shoot me an email me info@retirementspecialtygroup.com. So, once again, don't procrastinate. Pick up the phone. Call me, 888-557-1993. And I look forward to talking to you, so call me now.
All right, folks, you heard him. 888-557-1993 is the number to call. Get yourself on the calendar. Don't wait around too long. It's always the hardest part is starting that conversation, but once you do, you'll be glad you did. It's the toughest part, and after that, it's all gravy. It's all downhill, as they say. Yes, you may find out that you're not in the shape that you wanted to be in, but wouldn't you rather know that now so you can get started versus another 5 years from now, or even closer and closer to retirement, or further and further into retirement? So let's go ahead and take some action and just find out where the heck we stand, and then get a plan in place and get started working that plan. 888-557-1993 is all you have to do to get it started. 888-557-1993. It really is that easy. Give Anthony a call, 888-557-1993. You're listening to Retire the Right Way. We'll be right back with questions from around the area on the mailbag, and then we'll be out of here.
Lewis Carroll once said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. Now, while that may be true, wouldn't it be better to know where you are going and exactly how to get there? With a customized financial GPS from Retirement Specialty Group, you won't have to wonder if any road you take towards retirement will work, because you will know that you are getting there right on time. For your free financial GPS, call 888-557-1993. That's 888-557-1993 for your no-cost, no-obligation consultation.
Have a question for Anthony? Just shoot us an email at info@retirementspecialtygroup.com. That's info@retirementspecialtygroup.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Retirement Specialty Group.
Well, we're cruising down the home stretch here on Retire the Right Way. Going to wrap up the show today with Anthony Wright from Retirement Specialty Group. He's in Chattanooga, Knoxville, Crossville, Sparta, Fairfield Glades, all points in between, every dusty road from here to there. You can find Anthony Wright and his team at Retirement Specialty Group. 888-557-1993 is the number to call the man and get yourself on the calendar. Really great show today, Anthony. I've had a lot of fun. We've had some good conversation about our financial junk drawer. And the fact that my voice is kicking out all of a sudden. We've had the financial junk drawer. We've had a little starting the conversation play there, where I'm trying to help you think about what it's going to take to get you to take some action and get going. But it's been a good show today.
It's been a great show, man. I enjoy every show, and I really always look forward to doing it with you. And today's been really good show.
I appreciate it, and I love doing the show with you as well. And we're going to finish up, as we always do, folks, with the mailbag, and that's questions from around the area. If you'd like to submit your own, go to retirementspecialtygroup.com. That's retirementspecialtygroup.com. You can send an email to info@retirementspecialtygroup.com. Ask your question, leave your information, and we'll ask the best ones on the air each week, and or leave out some information if you don't want to have your question asked. That's certainly okay as well. All right, let's get started today. We're going to start with a quick short one here. This is from Hector. Hector's in Chattanooga, and Hector says, "Hey, Anthony, I'm torn between contributing to the Roth IRA and the traditional IRA. You have any advice on which one is a better option?"
Oh, yeah, good question, Hector, and I appreciate you emailing that in. And, here's the biggest difference in a Roth versus a traditional. A Roth IRA, when you retire, you're going to retire tax-free. Now, that sounds fun. It sounds like it's a good thing. And I don't really object to it, but you have to understand that if you contribute to a Roth, because you're going to pay taxes on the front end, it is not deductible from your tax return. So a traditional IRA is something that if you contribute to, you're going to write that off on your taxes. So your CPA is going to allow you to deduct, say, $5,000 a year that you're going to put in that traditional IRA. Well, if you put the same amount, $5,000 a year, in the Roth, you're not going to get to write it off as a tax deduction because they're going to require you to pay the taxes up front. So it's kind of tit for tat. Are you in a situation where you want to defer paying tax right now? If that's the case, you want to go traditional IRA. If you're in a situation where, hey, I don't mind paying the tax on the money, I just want to retire tax-free, then you want to go Roth. So that's the difference in Roth versus the IRA, and I hope that helped you out there, Hector, and I certainly appreciate your email, and keep listening and keep in touch with me.
Now, it might be a situation, Anthony, I hear different schools of thought on this, and you let me know what you think, but maybe having both is not a bad idea because you want some tax deductions, but you also want to avoid that tax bomb. So maybe having a bit of both. I know that I personally have both going on, so I hear that that's a good strategy as well.
Absolutely. I would have no problem with doing both, and I think that would be a tremendous strategy.
Yeah, Hector, if you're still working and you're contributing from your job, have both accounts, and maybe you're contributing, maybe let's say the company does up to, I don't know, a lot of companies do 5 or 6% matching or something like that. You could always do where you split, right? Go, let's say it's 6%, go 3 and 3, put 3 in one account, 3% in the other account, and then let them match.
There you go.
Yeah, just food for thought. But obviously, before you take any action, Hector, make sure you do check with a qualified financial professional such as Anthony Wright, and that is 888-557-1993, 888-557-1993. All right, Miss Jane over in Knoxville says, Mr. Wright, what's a good interest rate for a money market account right now, or is there no such thing as a good interest rate? Pretty funny question, Jane.
Yeah, and once again, I would say to Jane, I do appreciate your email, and I had a client come in this past week, and she just absolutely swore up and down she was making 4% on her money market account, and folks that are listening today, that does not exist. It is not out there.
No.
And
4%? No.
4% is not out there on a money market account. You might, on your lucky day, get 0.26 or 0.27.
I actually did see a 1%er. There is a 1%er out there.
There is a 1%er out there, but there's some strings attached to it.
Very, very good point. Very good point.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a 1%er out there, but there's some strings attached to it. But even at that, that's about the best you're going to get. And if you do the 1%, you're going to have to abide by those tentacles attached to it and those strings attached to it. But
The octopus arms.
Well, hey, here's what I would tell Jane. Pick up the phone, give me a call, come in, sit down, talk to me. I do have an alternative situation. It is 100% safe. It is 100% secured, and it is 100% guaranteed. It's as safe as the money in your pocket, and the fixed rates on those right now are 3.45. So if you're getting 0.27 or you're getting even 1, we can still beat that. The fixed rate right now is 3.45. So if that's you and you're listening, give me a call. And I will say this too, Mark. I will say that we've been talking about it the whole show, and I want people to really understand that this financial GPS that we offer it's a fantastic idea of just to come in and sit down and do an overall plan, because nobody ever does a plan. You don't know what your risk level is, just like what Jane is asking here. I have money in a money market. I'm earning 0.26%. I'm earning 1%. So if you need to know what else is out there and what's available, you want to come in, sit down, and do the financial GPS. So what I'm going to do, I haven't done this the whole show, but since we're here toward the end of the show today, yeah, what I want to do is for the next 10 callers that call me and book an appointment to come in and sit down and talk with me, you say, Anthony, I want to know more. So the biggest problem is procrastinators. So here's what I'm going to do. 1, it doesn't cost you anything. It's going to be complimentary. You already know that. But 2, I'm going to give you an extra incentive. So if you come in and you book an appointment, you come in and meet with me, at the end of that meeting, I'm going to give you a free copy of my new book. It's just been released on Amazon.com, and I'm going to give you a copy of that book. You won't even have to go out there and buy it. So once I complete my meeting with you, I'm going to give you a free copy of that book. And a lot of people ask me to autograph it. I'll be happy to autograph it for you. That and $5 will get you a Starbucks coffee. But if it makes you happy, I'll autograph it for you. So don't procrastinate. Pick up the phone. Call me at 888-557-1993. It's my passion. It's my heart's desire to help you, but you have to pick up the phone and call me. So 888-557-1993 or text the words RSG to 555-888. Come in and see me, folks. I look forward to talking to you.
All right, folks, the retirees, pre-retirees, we certainly hope you picked up a useful nugget or two of information on today's show on Retire the Right Way. We love having you here each and every week, and thank you so much for tuning in. And make sure you get started. Look, we know we kind of beat this horse into the ground, but there's a reason for it. It's better to know ahead of time than it is when it's too late. So go ahead and get started, because as the old saying goes, it's never too late to get started and do the right thing. So give Anthony a call, 888-557-1993. Hey, man, it's just an hour of your time you're looking at. If you don't like how the situation's going or it doesn't feel like the right fit for you, certainly no problem. Anthony will shake your hand and send you on the way. You may come in and find out maybe a little nervous, and you think, oh my gosh, he's going to tell me I've done everything wrong. And that's possible. But he also might say, hey, you're doing a really pretty good job. Here's what we might want to tweak a little bit here or there. Again, pat you on the back, send you on your way. Or you might come in and find out that you really need some help, and Anthony's a great person to help you with that. You just don't know until you find out. So go ahead and give him a call. Come in, 888-557-1993. I guarantee you'll enjoy the meeting. He's a fun guy. He's absolutely just the same kind of person that you hear on the radio as he is in person. A lot of fun to talk to, and he will shoot it at you straight and get you the information that you need. But you got to get started by calling him. 888-557-1993. The road to success has many twists and turns, but a financial GPS from Anthony Wright can help you get to and through your retirement. 888-557-1993. Thanks for listening to Retire the Right Way. Bye-bye.
Information is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute tax, investment, or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified investment, legal, or tax professional before taking any action.